and gentlemen, please tone it down a bit. There's an announcement I'd like to read now. Wait, how am I supposed to pronounce this?
Fight!
The topic of the day is honor your mother and your father. Before I get started, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to our Creator, the Most High. And I want to send a special thanks to each and every one that is listening. Thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for downloading the shows. All is much appreciated. The topic of the day is honor your mother and your father, that your days will be long upon the earth. You know, that is one of my favorite commandments because it's a lot of wisdom in it. It's like you might be a kid living under your parents' roof, and you might not like everything that they're doing or saying. But the Most High said to honor them. And what's the way that we honor them? We show respect at all times. That's a good way of honoring them. You know, respecting them in the public and private. You know, that's the greatest form of honoring them for their contributions to making you who you are. You know, it's like before you became who you are, someone was protecting you, feeding you, clothing you, making sure no harm come your way. You know, and I can go even further by saying that they taught us everything that we do now. You know, on speaking, you know, someone had to help me to speak, you know, potty train, you know, eating. You know, our parents are responsible for helping us, you know, through the teaching and the training to become who we are. And we have to show respect. You know, like I said, you might not even like them. They might not did things the way you think they ought to do it. But they're still human. And more than anything, we have to appreciate that they made the ultimate sacrifice. Yes, they did. They made the ultimate sacrifice. You know, I used to hear about old people saying that once you have kids, your life is over. And they don't mean that your life is over. It means that the partying and, you know, stuff that you used to do, that part is over with because now you're responsible for someone else. You know, this little kid that you brought here into this world, you're now a responsible person. And a responsible person takes responsibility, you know, for something that they did. I mean, some didn't, but through it all, the Most High said to honor them because they could have aborted you, you know, and never thought of you again. You know, it's like they love us so much that they take the time to name us, give us some, you know, tangible, you know, like a good name. I mean, of course they do more than that, but, you know, these things are just popping on the top of my head. And I thought that I should do a show about it. You know, that a lot of people, they might not like their parents, but I'm here to say, respect them at all times because they could have pulled the plug on you before you even made your first words. Think about it. Let that sink in for a second. You know, they could have pulled the plug because at the time they probably were still young themselves. But it was like something clicked in them that was saying that I can do this. I can be a responsible person. I too can raise someone else. you know. And like I say, it's no manual on how to be a good parent. You know, we learn through experiences. You know, like for me, this podcast was brought to you by, you know, of course, the love from the Most High, my experiences, understanding, and elaboration on the topic at hand. You know, and that would make me, I would say, somebody that qualified to speak on it, because I went through these motions. You know, I went through the emotions of not necessarily agreeing with my parents of how they was raising me. But now that I'm in the parent position, you know, I understand exactly what they was doing. You know, it was like they couldn't give me everything I wanted, because it's no respect in just giving somebody something. You have to make them earn it. If they don't earn it, they don't respect it. So that's, you know what I'm saying, that's something that I learned from my parents. They didn't just give me everything that I wanted, even though I was watching other people, you know, other kids around me. It was like all they had to do was just ask, and they received. You know what I'm saying? It's like all they had to do was just open their mouth, and they got the new bikes, shoes, whatever it was at that time. But my parents wasn't so fortunate, and I used to be like, man, what's wrong with y'all, man? Y'all need to tighten up. Don't y'all see how these other folks doing it? You know, they keeping a smile on their kid's face. I want a smile on my face. You know what I mean? But like I was saying, that we have to make them earn it. Whatever they want, they have to earn it. But nowadays, you know, you have a lot of parents, they don't want to see their kids cry. And I can understand that, because I'm a parent. I don't want to see my kids cry either. But I realize that sometimes they're going to cry. You know what I mean? And I might not be able to physically do what they want to do at that time. You know, it's like, I'm saying, like, for the older kids, not the little infants and the little babies. You know, you have to cater to them. You know what I'm saying? Because they control your sanity. You know what I mean? They control whether you sleep or not. So I'm not talking about the little kids, you know, as far as the little infants, but, you know, the ones that old enough to understand. You know, I'm talking about them. But this was just a short show about, we have to honor our parents, because whether we know it or not, we're going to be them very, very soon. We're going to take their place of becoming parents. You know, and like I said before, there is no instruction manual on how to raise kids. You know, you do it through experience. You do it through word of advice. You know, it's like you watch your parents do it. You know, there's firsthand understanding and knowledge of how to and what not to. You know, but this was just a short show about, we have to put some respect on our parents' names, because without them, we wouldn't be here. Let that sink in. For all the ones that's, you know, you got a bone to pick with your parents about whatever. But think about it for a second. They could have pulled the plug and resumed their party lifestyle. Of course, they was going to have to pay for it, but you wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? But it was just something to think about, you know, as we start this new year. You know, let's think about the sacrifices that people made so we can be here. But until the next time, like always, we're going to continue to fight for the truth or die for a lie. Peace and blessings to you and your entire family. Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, please tone it down a bit. There's an announcement I like to read now. Wait, how am I supposed to pronounce this?